Welcome to Hollywood. In this video, we're going deep into the lives of 17 legendary Hollywood stars who were drunk more often than they were sober. These are the actors whose love of alcohol became a part of their legacy, sometimes glamorous, often tragic, and always unforgettable. From old-school icons to Oscar winners who fought their demons in the spotlight, their stories reveal the wild and messy side of fame. So grab your popcorn, maybe skip the martini, and get ready to discover the stars who were always one drink away from disaster. 1. Richard Burton. Few actors drank like Richard Burton. The Welsh actor, famed for his thunderous voice and Shakespearean gravitas, was rarely seen without a drink in hand. During his stormy relationship with Elizabeth Taylor, the two were known as Hollywood's most glamorous and most intoxicated couple. Burton's drinking was legendary on set. He could down a bottle of vodka before noon and still deliver a flawless performance. Sadly, his addiction caught up with him, and he died in 1984 at just 58. 2. Peter O'Toole. Peter O'Toole once said he was a working alcoholic, and he wasn't kidding. The Lawrence of Arabia star was notorious for his love of booze, often drinking into the early morning before stumbling onto set. His liver failed in the 1970s, and he miraculously survived a transplant. Despite this, he continued drinking for years afterward, making him one of the most resilient and reckless drinkers in Hollywood history. 3. Judy Garland. America's sweetheart had a secret struggle with alcohol and pills. Judy Garland was pushed into fame at a young age and given pep pills by studio heads. Over time, she turned to alcohol to numb the pressure. Her performances remained stunning, but behind the scenes, she was deeply troubled. Garland's drinking worsened as her career faltered, and she died of an overdose at 47. 4. Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn wasn't just a swashbuckling movie star, he was also the life of every party. Flynn's drinking habits were notorious in Golden Age Hollywood. Known for arriving on set still drunk from the night before, Flynn embraced his bad boy image. His drinking, womanizing, and reckless behavior earned him a reputation that still echoes through Hollywood lore. He died at 50 with multiple health problems, many caused by years of heavy drinking. 5. John Belushi. John Belushi lived fast and died young. The Saturday Night Live star and comedy genius was a heavy drinker who often mixed alcohol with other substances. His time on movie sets like Animal House was filled with wild parties and benders that lasted for days. Belushi's inability to slow down cost him dearly. He died of a drug and alcohol overdose in 1982 at just 33 years old. 6. Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor had beauty, talent, and a serious drinking problem. Her relationships with Richard Burton often spiraled into alcohol-fueled chaos. Taylor drank to cope with physical pain, heartbreak, and fame's relentless pressure. She eventually entered rehab and became one of the first celebrities to openly talk about addiction recovery. But for much of her life, she was drunk more often than not. 7. W.C. Fields. W.C. Fields practically built his comedic persona around his love of alcohol. With a signature red nose and a raspy voice, Fields was rarely without a flask on set. He preferred gin, often hiding it in water bottles and coffee cups during filming. Studio heads tried to limit his drinking, but Fields always found a way. He once joked, "I never drink water, fish fornicate in it." 8. Robert Mitchum. Robert Mitchum was as cool as they came, even when completely smashed. The film noir icon loved his bourbon and often drank through his scenes. He was known to smuggle alcohol onto dry sets and once said, "The only difference between me and my characters is that I drink real booze." Mitchum's love of alcohol never derailed his career, but it certainly added to his legend. 9. Dean Martin. Dean Martin made being drunk look suave. As part of the Rat Pack, he leaned into his image as a lovable lush. Martin always had a cocktail in hand, on stage, on screen, even during television specials. Whether it was real or an act became part of the mystery, but insiders confirm Martin did love to drink, especially scotch. His drunken persona became iconic and often overshadowed his immense talent. 10. Richard Harris. Richard Harris, the original Dumbledore in the Harry Potter series, was once banned from every hotel in London because of his drunken antics. He drank for decades, famously saying, "I often sit back and think, I wish I'd done that, and then I realize I already have drunk." Harris partied hard with the likes of Peter O'Toole and Richard Burton, making them the holy trinity of celebrity drinkers. 11. Ava Gardner. Ava Gardner was as fiery as she was beautiful, and her drinking matched her passion. She drank to cope with fame, heartbreak, and her turbulent relationship with Frank Sinatra. Gardner's nights often ended in chaos and blackouts, but her charisma always brought her back into the public's good graces. Her alcohol-fueled escapades became legendary in Hollywood gossip circles. 12. Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke's early promise as a Hollywood heartthrob was nearly derailed by his drinking. In the 80s and 90s, Rourke was more likely to be seen at a bar than on a movie set. His drinking, combined with a stint in boxing, took a toll on his face, his body, and his career. Though he later sobered up and made a comeback in The Wrestler, his years of heavy drinking left a lasting mark. 13. Bette Davis. Bette Davis had a razor-sharp wit and a whiskey habit to match. Known for her confrontational attitude and fierce independence, Davis often drank heavily on and off set. She believed alcohol sharpened her edge and helped her deal with the pressures of being a woman in male-dominated Hollywood. Friends and co-workers described her as brilliant, intimidating, and frequently buzzed. 14. Oliver Reed. Oliver Reed was a legendary British actor and an even more legendary drinker. Known for his intense screen presence, Reed once drank over 100 pints in 2 days. He bragged about brawling in pubs, drinking entire bars dry, and challenging anyone to outdrink him. Tragically, he died of a heart attack in a bar during a drinking session while filming Gladiator in Malta. 15. Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage's alcohol use has made headlines over the years, from drunken outbursts to late-night Las Vegas weddings. He's been caught on camera slurring his words and staggering through interviews, and former collaborators have shared stories of his on-set drinking. Though Cage is still active in Hollywood, his erratic behavior and drinking habits have made him a tabloid regular. 16. Spencer Tracy. Spencer Tracy was one of the most respected actors of his time, and one of the most deeply troubled. He drank heavily throughout his life, often disappearing for days at a time on benders. Tracy's alcoholism caused major problems in his career and relationships, including his affair with Katharine Hepburn. Still, he was able to deliver stunning performances, even when he was struggling with severe hangovers. 17. Montgomery Clift. Montgomery Clift's alcoholism was fueled by pain, both physical and emotional. After a devastating car crash in 1956, Clift's drinking escalated, and he became increasingly unreliable on set. He struggled with his sexuality, public image, and inner demons, finding comfort in the bottle. Nicknamed the longest suicide in Hollywood, his slow decline was heartbreaking to those who once saw him as Brando's equal. And there you have it, 17 Hollywood stars who were drunk all the time. From silver screen legends to modern-day icons, these actors show how fame, pressure, and personal demons often drove them straight to the bottle. Some wore their drinking like a badge of honor, while others battled their addictions in private. For many, alcohol was both a coping mechanism and a career killer. And though some managed to pull themselves back from the edge, others weren't so lucky. Which of these stars shocked you the most? Was there anyone you expected to see but didn't? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this dive into Hollywood's hidden stories, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Hollywood World, and ring the bell so you never miss an upload. Until next time, stay curious, and maybe pour one out for the stars we lost too soon. Thanks for watching.